Hi, everybody. My name is Sarah. Pearls of Wisdom and Food with Keto under 20. In fact, let's see where we're at today. I just made 2 individual quiches, and in my chronometer, you can go in under foods and create your own recipe. So I have about 4 different versions of the quiche. I have it with ham. Tonight will be steak. I have it with bacon. So, yep, you can do it a million different ways. And so I put together the 2 individual ones. And that way I can take the little container, the little crock thing, and put it all together and weigh as I go on mine. So it is totally accurate. The bottom layer, I saute some Swiss chard in coconut oil. Then I put some cauliflower crumbles. I put mine in raw. And then I added 2 ounces of filet mignon that was left over. On top of that, I put 67 grams of cut up asparagus. And then I poured the 2 jumbo eggs that I, whisked a little bit on top of that. And then 2 ounces of Cabot pepper jack cheese. And it works. And so I will be putting it into the toaster oven and cooking it at around 350 for I think 45 minutes. Comes out perfect. Perfect. The cheese is all melted and bubbly. So today on this I am having 1,449 calories. I am having 53 grams of protein. My cap is 60. I was waiting for that to do that. My carbs are 14.1 and my fat is 134.5. And I am having a great big green leafy with 2 tablespoons of oil. One is macadamia nut oil and the other one is olive oil. So it's 1,459 calories. And I'm loving it. So, okay, it's Friday. How are you with weekends? Do you go along doing your kind of strict, measured keto, maybe even OMAD? And then the weekend comes and suddenly it's like, honey, you want to go out for breakfast? And then there's a party or a wedding reception or a cocktail place to go. And suddenly all of your good, disciplined work kind of falls off a little bit because, it's the weekend. I want to be normal. I want to eat normal. I want to go to these functions. I can pick out the keto foods and be safe, even if I haven't tracked them because I haven't gone, so I don't know what they're serving. And you do okay with that? Or is it kind of a slippery slope? Some people get kind of lazy keto, get kind of slippery on weekends because it's not so easy to take care of yourself and put in the foods you're going to have so you're covered and you're doing well that way so you're not getting into trouble. And we don't want to see you get into trouble, that's for sure. And so, fortunately for me, my weekend is working. So it's pretty much OMAD at 3 p.m. and then I go to bed at 4:30. But if you're a normie and, there's people around that want to go to breakfast, that you're invited out to eat, and you're not quite sure, well, you can always pull up the menu, right? And when in doubt, get one of those little 6-ounce filet mignons, get some steamed broccoli, ask for the butter on the side because chances are it'll be real butter versus sometimes they use that 60-40 toxic margarine butter deal. Yeah. And then a salad. And you can bring in your own little, I get baby food jars from Amazon. And I put my oils in that so I can go ahead and pour that on the salad. And make sure it's a dark leafy, maybe even just a spinach salad. You can get crumbled cheese on it, of course. But beware that they might think, I remember going one place and I asked for, a sprinkle of feta cheese. And the guy, it had to be a half a cup firmly packed feta cheese. It was like, oh my, there was so much of it. And of course, because I'm a pig and they served it to me, you know what I did. But that was before keto. That's when I was just being good, but I wasn't keto. So you need to set up strategies for your going outs on the weekend, maybe having 2 meals in the day instead of having one. I know one pickle here, when she does breakfast with her husband on weekends, she only has, she'll have just like regular coffee, maybe even black, I'm not sure. So then when she goes out to eat, she can have what she wants that's keto, but she hasn't like had a bulletproof coffee and then goes out to eat and has a 3 egg omelet, with like bacon on the side or something like that, or the cheese that they put on it. There's usually more cheese. And yeah, so it's kind of taking care of yourself. It's not a free for all, anything you want as long as it's keto. That's not necessarily healthy or wise, because once you start getting used to that larger portion distortion, then you can get into trouble. And I know that when I go out to these, when I used to go out to breakfast a lot, I'd ask for organic eggs because they had them. They were extra, and that's fine. And I would ask for 2 egg omelet instead of a 3 egg omelet. Because when the chef has the 3 egg omelet spread out on the griddle, he's going to add more things to it. And so then your calories or your carbs or your fats or all of them can get to be more, maybe even the protein too. So I usually ask for like a 2 egg omelet with the organic eggs and hope that they just aren't heavy-handed with things, and that it's, because I'm not going to cut a 3 egg omelet in half and take half of it home. I'm just not. And so I don't want to waste the food either. So that's how I handle that. If I was going out to dinner, like I said, filet mignon, steamed broccoli or some roasted asparagus or cauliflower if they have it, and then the salad on the side. And that's very doable. And I think the thing that you want to be careful with is going over on your protein when you go out to eat with a steak, because if they're serving a 10-ounce ribeye and you eat a 10-ounce ribeye, it's probably more protein than you need to have. And so just be careful. That's why I like it when they have those 4, 6, or 8-ounce versions of filet. It keeps you safer. And yeah, it's not opening up the menu and just going crazy with ordering stuff. I suppose you could also get like broiled swordfish or haddock or something like that, and ask for some butter on the side for those things. That all works too. So if you've been doing keto for a while, you're not going to be as anxiety ridden about a weekend where there are 2 meals instead of one, and where you go out to eat or where you go to somebody's house and you're kind of left defenseless because you're not quite sure what they're going to serve. Maybe it's a friend of your husband's and you don't really feel comfortable calling the husband or his wife and saying, so what are you having? Salmon's another good one that you can have, but be careful that it's wild caught and not farm raised, because it has hideous things in it. It's dyed to look like wild salmon. It's, there's just yuckums in it. Sometimes it's wormy. Yeah. So you want to stay away from farm raised. It's not in your best interest. So if you have the option of salmon, make sure it's wild caught. Usually the swordfish is wild caught, and some people worry about the mercury, but the amount of times per year I have swordfish, I would say if you're pregnant, you probably need to be aware. And then you can always get that nice little romaine salad or Caesar salad. Ooh, Caesar salad. And tell them to leave the croutons in the kitchen. And, sprinkling of blue cheese on the spinach salad. Like I say to you, I bring my own olive oil and macadamia nut oil, so then I can just discreetly pour it on my salad, because I know they're not going to have what I'm looking for. And sometimes the oils are canola blended oil that they bring out in the cruet and say, yeah, it's olive oil, because most people aren't going to know. We do the best we can and educate them, but it's not always easy. And so you want to just be armored when you go out. Now, Scott, the truck driver, did an excellent podcast on this maybe a few weeks ago. And he was going out to eat, and he was being, I think somebody treated for the restaurant meal. And so he knew what worked in restaurants, and he ordered it. And he was very specific. He was, how Scott talks. He can take a half hour to say what he ordered in the restaurant before he even reviews it. So he was very particular with the server. I don't want any grains. I don't want any potatoes. I don't want any other starches, just the steak. And I'm not sure if he ordered vegetables. Maybe, no, he was doing the carnivore, I think. And so he just wanted the steak. I think he might have gotten mushrooms. But anyway, they plopped the steak right onto the mashed potatoes. And it's like, really? And I'm sure Scott said something like WTF, and I would go, really? But he didn't want to be a PIA to with the people that he was with and to the server. So he just kind of, asked for a different plate and moved it. But he did feel the next day like there were some carbs that entered into his 0-carb food plan that he's doing right now, or at least he was 3 weeks ago. So, we have to be very, very specific. And sometimes going out to eat as a keto person takes all the fun out of fun. And it's just something that happens because we become so aware of what we're eating, and we take such good care of ourselves that we really want to shoot for interference with the hostess, with the server, with any place that you're at where you just don't have the control that you would in your own kitchen. So we do what we do, but don't overdo the protein if you're doing keto. You still want to have moderate protein and the high fat. So you can have that smaller piece of steak with the pat of butter on it. How yummy is that? Then you can have the salad and, probably a regular salad, but don't have the iceberg salad and don't have the tomatoes, and just aim for the darker, more nutritionally dense lettuce, the better off you're going to be. And bring your own oils from home. And that's about it. Breakfast is much easier because you can have the eggs, the bacon, the sausage, and ham, and the cheeses, and probably mushrooms, or, something like the broccoli or the asparagus inside of an omelet, or just the scrambled with some cheese on it and then the side of bacon. And you can have a wonderful time with that. I usually, if I ever do go, now that I'm doing one meal a day, I haven't had the challenge of going out to breakfast and then the dinner part. But if I was, I would keep it all high fat. I would have an omelet with cheeses and then the side of bacon, or the pork. What is that I like? A pork belly at that restaurant, and no carbs whatsoever. Just keeping it really high fat, and then moving into dinner and probably just having a great big leafy green salad with the macadamia nut oil and the olive oil. Maybe a small piece of protein, but usually just the big salad if I was going to do it. So that's how we're rolling here. Hopefully your weekends go well. You're not flummoxed or overwhelmed. You're kind of like, okay, I can do this. I'm going to have 2 meals. I've been doing 1 meal a day, but I am going out to eat, so I want to keep it sane. And what I would do, just me, I would go into my chronometer and put in, the bones of what I think I'm going to have. If it's breakfast, it's obvious. It would be bacon, cheese, and eggs. And then if I was home for dinner, then I have control and I could have the salad with the oils in it and maybe some crumbled cheese, blue cheese, or feta, something like that. And if it's going out for a dinner that you don't have that much control over, if it's a restaurant, look up the restaurant online to kind of get your, what they have for sides, broccoli or asparagus, something like that. The side salad, bring you, and, make provisions that have your oils in them, and have at it. If you're going to somebody's house, hopefully they have a meat, a salad, and some sort of steamed veggie. Just hope it's not a casserole. So we can do this. We do this. But back on Monday, it's like right back in the saddle of the one meal a day, weighed, measured, tracked. That's the slippery part. If you have 2 slippery days on the weekend, that third day, that Monday, makes it kind of hard to go back to the strict and I just did an overnight. I'm tired. A strict and structured keto plan. Okay, and if you've been having 2 meals over the weekend each day, and then you go back to the one, you might have a little bit of a, hankering, and just have fats in your coffee. That's always my suggestion. Have a fatty fast versus whatever type of intermittent fasting you have. So you can do this. We can do this. Thanks so much for listening. Please subscribe, and I will see you the next time. Thanks so much for watching. This has been Sarah. Pearls of Wisdom and Food. Enjoy your weekends, but just don't forget what brought you to the success that you've had if it's 1 meal a day. I will talk to you next time. Bye-bye for now.